עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו, אמרו, אמן. Nay na 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 nay nay na 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 nay ya na 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 nay ya na 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 na.
What is the most important thing for you that you'll be taking back from this experience? How will it influence you in your work back home?
I don't really know whether it will influence my work, because I am not one of the church leaders who will then have to talk in the church circumstances about Israel and Palestine and the conflict here. But I'm very sure that it will influence the communication with friends who are interested in this trip. And I think the most important impression I take back is that the conflict is not as easy as it is communicated by the media in Germany. It is much more complex, it is much more global, and there are much more opportunities to see it and to judge it and to work on perspectives than you get to know if you only listen to the media in Europe.
Can you say what was the most emotional or the most spiritual important moment for you on this trip?
Yeah, I think the most emotional was this morning when we met with Lydia, and she shared with us her experience of being a Jew in England back in the 40s and 50s, I suppose, and all the prejudice she had to come across, and the difficult situations she was in, reactions she got from people, that really touched me very deeply. And I had the feeling, how can one person make so many difficult experience and hurting experience in one life? The most spiritual one, I think there are two. One was the visit of the synagogue service on Sabbath evening. That was my first visit, not visit in a synagogue, but attending a synagogue service, and that was really, really touching for me. And I'm still with the music, with the songs, with the way those people sang. And the other one actually was the encounter with Daud Nasser in the Tent of Nations, who really struggles with his family for almost 100 years in a peaceful way for the property that is theirs, and they don't give up, and they still follow the commandment of Jesus to live in peace with your neighbors. And that really has my big, big respect.
Can you say something what it meant for you touring now the biblical lands, the places that we know from the biblical texts?
Yeah. It is again, I have been here almost 30 years ago. It is again touching for me to be in the country and in the places, in the landscape where Jesus was, where the biblical stories really took place. That is a very emotional encounter for a committed Christian. What I found interesting is that the holy spots were not as important for me as I thought they might have been. So it didn't matter for me in the Church of the Nativity whether this is the place where baby Jesus was born. It doesn't matter whether it's there or at a completely different part of Bethlehem. I think it's important that it's somewhere in Bethlehem. And it was very interesting to see the reactions of our African and Asian brothers for whom seeing these places they know since childhood, since Sunday school. had a completely different meaning for them than for me.
Yeah, when we met with Bishop Yunan, he said at one point that he considers his church to be representative of Christianity also in this holy land or in this biblical land. And he also said that, or he invited us to make use of their presence here in this place. How do you relate to that from the perspective of UEM?
Well, I think the invitation from Bishop Yunan is a very important one, and that for the members of UEM is good to know that as Christian churches they can refer to a organization here in the Holy Land which speaks the same language we do. What I think is a big task Bishop Yunan takes up to himself and his church is to say they are the representative of Christianity here. They are the evangelical church in the Holy Land is a very important part of it, but it's a comparably very small church. So they will certainly need the backing of worldwide Christianity and other churches and the organizations of Christianity we have. Well, I think what is extraordinary with this trip is that we have been here with people from Africa, Asia and Germany, with church leaders from different levels, but in principle from the top level of churches, which made communication very equal. And I know from my own time in Africa, bishops like to talk to bishops and not just to pastors, especially when they are on the way or traveling like this journey to the Holy Land. So the atmosphere was extraordinary, easygoing, but the encounter with the colleagues from Africa and Asia, to me on this trip, was almost as important as the encounter with the people we met here and who explained to us the situation in the Holy Land. And in the reflection rounds in the evening, I can see that from day to day the participants are opening up more and sharing more from the real experience they have and from the thoughts and questions they have in their mind. And I think that is a great treasure of this journey.